Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning. This is exciting. This is season 1, episode 2 of Gospel Cafe. Just right now waiting for our special guest, our primate and Archbishop of the Anglican Church of Canada, the Most Reverend Linda Nichols. And so just waiting for her. How's everyone out there? Good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
This works. This is awesome.
It worked.
God is
After
good.
yesterday's multiple attempts that were not successful.
It's all good. It is all good. How are you doing this morning, my Archbishop?
I'm very good.
Good. Good. And how's your week going so far?
It's fine. It's a lot of Zoom or podcasts or FaceTime. So, yeah.
I'm sorry for adding more to your plate.
No. These conversations are fun. I like this.
Good. So for everyone watching, welcome to another episode of Gospel Cafe. I'm Pastor Steve and very blessed and honored to have our primate and as well our Archbishop, the Most Reverend Linda Nichols, former Bishop of the Diocese of Huron. And so for today, for people who don't know, it's in 2 parts. First part is on questions, some fun questions, some deep theological questions to hopefully unveil some thoughts by our Archbishop, our primate, but also then the second half is much more fun in regards to a rapid fire. So, for example, coffee or tea or whatever it may be in regards to that. So I'm really excited for this. So, my primate, are you ready to rock and roll here?
Sure.
You are?
Yep.
So first question. With so many faiths and beliefs in the world, why Jesus?
Well, I think that question starts always with the person, with me.
Yes.
Why Jesus for me? And why Jesus for me is because primarily that's who I was introduced to by my family, by my church. And so for me, being introduced to Jesus as a child, I'm a cradle Anglican, raised in the church, Sunday school, confirmation. And then as a teenager through InterVarsity Christian Fellowship, realizing that the others around me who were Christians, who believed in Jesus, were the kind of people I wanted to be around. They were the people who were clear that their faith made a difference in their life. Now, I'd have to say it's not because it was over against other faiths. It's not that in fact, I think most of the people around me presumed they were Christian. I don't think I saw or knew many people who were Hindu or Muslim or even Jewish. And so for me, it was just part of the sea I swam in. Okay. As an adult, I've had to wrestle with, why do I stay with Jesus when there's these other faiths around?
Yes.
And I think the answer to that is that Jesus has called my heart. And so my relationship with Jesus is the way I express my relationship with God. And my call is to express that the best I can. And it's not a judgment on others, it's to say that's where I've been called.
Beautiful. I like that. Called my heart. I like that. Well done. Thank you, primate. Second question. Any people, theologians, authors who influenced you?
Yeah, over the years, there's been a whole bunch of different ones. I mean, at one point in my life, I read a lot of John Stott, evangelical British theologian and pastor. More recently, I've been reading a Franciscan Roman Catholic, Richard Rohr, who informs my faith. Rowan Williams, he takes work sometimes to read, but I love the way he pulls it together. And certainly having had the privilege of being on a retreat with him at the beginning of the Lambeth Conference in 2008 was a wonderful and profound time. Wow. The other person I love to read is Rabbi Jonathan Sacks.
Okay. Never heard of him. Okay, cool.
He died just this past fall, but he was the chief rabbi of England for many years. And if you haven't read him, you need to.
I will.
Especially his book, Not in My Name.
Not
in My Name, which is an exploration of the sibling relationship between Muslims, Jews, and Christians, because we share the Hebrew scriptures.
Yes. Not in My Name. That's awesome. Thank you. I got a book now again. This is awesome. Thank you. Thank you. What class or teacher in seminary molded you?
I guess two that stand out. One was Dr. Richard Longnecker, who was the teacher of the New Testament. And he was a wonderful teacher because he laid out different ways the passages we were looking at. You always knew which one he preferred, but he was always fair to every other position on that text.
Okay.
And he always began every class with prayer and ended with prayer. And the other professor was Dr. Margaret O'Gara, who was a Roman Catholic, who taught Christology at St. Mike's College in Toronto. And again, a woman of deep, profound faith and incredible intellect, and an ecumenical heart. I had the privilege of serving with her on Anglican Roman Catholic dialogue years later. And again, a tremendous openness and way of bringing people into conversation, and a deeply pastoral heart that showed through even in teaching such highfalutin theological ideas as Christology.
Thank you. Wow. This is very good. Thank you for this. So I have a question for you by our daughter, Trinity.
Okay.
Can you recall a moment you felt closest to Jesus and furthest from Jesus?
Okay. The closest to Jesus was actually an interesting moment. I was teaching and working in India. This was before I went into ministry. And my youngest sister came to go to school at the boarding school that I was teaching at for a year. And partway through that year, she became ill, and we weren't sure what was wrong with her. And it looked like she might have contracted TB, which was quite rampant in the area, but a little unusual to have contracted it that quickly. And I can remember walking on the road and in prayer with God, because I was her guardian while she was there, in prayer and just having this profound sense of, could God let it be me and not her? Loving her so much that I wanted to take that on myself, and suddenly having this realization that's what Jesus has done for us.
Amen.
And it was a moment of intimacy with the profound power of God that I've never forgotten.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for
furthest away would be sometimes in ministry when the frailty of the church just becomes too apparent, and I don't see a way forward, or it begins to hit me personally, and I just feel like I'm just so far from God, and where's God in all of this, because I'm not seeing God in this.
Yes.
Whatever it is. Parish fights can be pretty nasty. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Amen. Yes. Question from Josh. So thank you for answering those two, and thank you for sharing that, especially with your sister. Your favorite liturgical season and why?
Oh, Holy Week, hands down.
Aha!
Holy Week. It's the week that is us as Christians. It is the week that defines us. Without Holy Week, okay, Jesus was a nice guy and he was a good teacher and everything else, but Holy Week defines us. And I guess it's partly because I love drama. I love the storytelling, and the storytelling from Palm Sunday through, in one of the Gospels at least, the cleansing of the temple, into Maundy Thursday, the servanthood of Christ, the institution of the Last Supper, the agony in the garden, the betrayal, the arrest, the trial, and then the agony of the cross. And having to live between that and Easter morning, and realizing that on the cross, everything that's wrong in the world, all the pain, all the suffering, all the hopelessness is right there. And to be able to go from that to Easter morning and know that it's not over.
Amen.
That God still has something for us, that is new life, that is bigger and better and fuller, and can help us to walk through that same pain and suffering. So for me, Holy Week, it's the thing I miss most about not being in a parish as a bishop. I've just always missed Holy Week, to be able to walk with the same congregation from Palm Sunday to Easter Sunday. And my passionate plea to everybody who's listening is, whatever you do, don't go from Palm Sunday to Easter Sunday with nothing in between.
Amen. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
You have to go at least Monday, Thursday, Good Friday, Easter Day. You can, Easter Vigil is sort of the beginning of Easter. But I think you have to hear that profound call of the servanthood of Christ on Monday, Thursday, the Last Supper, and you have to go to the foot of the cross, and then go to Easter Day.
Amen. Thank you for saying that, my Bishop. Thank you, because there is no resurrection without death.
Right.
So I thank you
Absolutely.
tremendously for saying that. Thank you. Tough question here coming for you. Throughout history, the church has been active in the marginalization of the BIPOC communities and societies. How will you change that?
Well, it's certainly something I've been aware of in a number of different ways. Certainly my conversations with colleagues in ministry from the BIPOC community, whenever I've asked them, have you ever experienced discrimination in the church? And they just laugh and they say, absolutely, all the time. And that is extremely painful to hear. When I became primate, I said to the Council of General Synod, I want us to make dismantling racism a priority. I want us to talk about it at every major meeting of the Council of General Synod. And we formed a dismantling racism task force at the national level to look at least the national level of our church and ask what needs to change here, because there's something wrong. Our Council of General Synod, when I look at it, it's a wonderful group of good people. But the only people, racialized people, are Indigenous people who are elected by ASIP, the Lutheran partner who's Black, and the partner from the Episcopal Church who's Black. But everybody else is white. And that says something about our church, that our dioceses don't elect people for General Synod from racialized communities that are there in our congregations. And it's not because they're not qualified people.
Yes.
So I'm committed to trying to change that and to invite, I don't have the authority to change it in the diocese. That has to come from every diocese. And I will do my best to encourage the bishops, to encourage their nominating committees, to look around their diocese and say, where are the BIPOC people who love our church and long to give leadership to it? And how do we bring them forward? I think we have some work to do around ordination processes. And again, that's not mine to change, but I can encourage it and ask for it and call for it. I know some dioceses, I know the Diocese of Toronto is doing some specific work on this, trying to say, how do we call forward people from the communities for which we have congregations? Sometimes monoethnic congregations, but sometimes just the fact that we have such a diversity in our church.
Yes.
And that diversity is across the country. And I will do my best to keep naming that and calling it out. We were just planning our next Council of General Synod meeting for May, and we're looking at a conversation around racism with some people within our church to hear their voice, because until we hear them tell us, we like to think we're nice. Anglicans and Canadians in particular like to think we're nice and that we don't have racism in our country. Well, I'm sorry, folks. It's been brought forward and we've heard it loud and clear through COVID. And we've heard it loud and clear, the cry of that Indigenous woman in the Quebec hospital, the cries of Black Anglicans Canada calling us to hear the voices of Caribbean, African, Black people, and people who've been here for centuries, who came as loyalists to this country, who were treated very badly. And I still remember one summer working at Southwestern Regional Center for the Developmentally Handicapped in the early 1980s, when it was still up. It was out near Chatham, outside of Bellwood there. Anyways. Okay. At that time, the local town still had on its bylaws anti-Black bylaws, that people who'd come through the Underground Railroad and arrived in that area could not be inside the town after 8 p.m. And that bylaw was still on the books. It had never been withdrawn. Wow. In the 1980s.
Wow.
And it was not enforced. I mean, nobody enforced it. But the fact that it was still there said that nobody thought it was worth taking away. And so those kinds of things are things I think we need to, those are all part of eliminating racism, is eliminating those things that still live in our structures that are a problem. And I'd have to say that as a bishop, I certainly have been pained by the reality that if I suggest a potential cleric for a parish who came from a racialized community, there would be, in some parishes, resistance. You know, oh, well, they have an accent and they wouldn't be understood by the older people. And you know that's just another form of racism that we have to work on.
Yes. Thank you, Archbishop, for your candid answer. Thank you for that. For those who are watching, we're very blessed and honored to have our Prime Minister, Archbishop, the Most Reverend Linda Nichols, with us. So, another question for you is, and I thank you tremendously for that. What was your biggest liturgical snafu?
I remember once in my first parish, I was celebrating the Eucharist, and the table was all set, and a chalice full of wine was on the altar. And as I lifted my hand to do something with the book, I knocked the chalice. It didn't fall over, but it rocked. And wine went everywhere. And so I'm in the middle of the Eucharistic prayer. I'm continuing the Eucharistic prayer while I'm mopping up wine, and I'm thinking the altar guild is going to hate me. The altar guild is going to hate me. And at the end of the service, I went to the head of the altar guild and I said, I am so sorry. I said, I don't know what happened. And she said, what did happen? I didn't see anything. But no, but everybody had their head down praying.
Oh, good.
I said, well, when you get up to the altar, you'll see that the fair linen and the corporal and everything is wine on it.
So. That's a good one. That's a very good one. Well done.
And that goes alongside of this being a summer church that had open windows, and occasionally I'd have to pluck a fly out of the wine.
Yes, been there, done that. Yeah. Thank you for admitting that. That's awesome. Thank you. Well done. Very excellent. Those are, yes, I think those are the questions. I got another one here for you. Most challenging role, responsibility, or task as the Archbishop, and the most enjoyable.
Most challenging. Sitting in airport lounges when I'm allowed to.
Oh. Fair enough.
You know, the travel schedule for the primate prior to the pandemic was quite brutal, and I don't, you know, being in transit when you're traveling long distances and you're sitting for hours in airports is a kind of no man's land. It's, you know, you can't really relax. You can't really, you know, you can work on something on your computer, but it's not like being home where you can, you know, just let your hair down kind of thing. And so that's probably that and the time zone shifting, you know, all of that you have to do that. The other thing is, somebody asked me the other day, what's the one thing about being primate that people don't know and should know?
Yes, go ahead.
And I think the thing that's challenging and that people don't know is that the primate has very little authority. I have far less authority as primate than I did as diocesan bishop of Huron.
Okay.
And so the primate's role is one of representing the whole church across the country, of being the first amongst equals amongst the bishops, and of being the storyteller, back and forth from one side to another, from north to south, east to west, central to other parts. And so I get letters all the time that ask me to fix something, you know, fix this in my parish, or fix this in our diocese, or change this, and I can't. I don't have that authority. So I'm not sure I'd want that authority, but it can be a little frustrating. I think the other piece of that is receiving every day, almost every day, I receive, if not 1, 2, or 3 requests for refugee asylum from people in the Middle East, particularly Syrians caught in Lebanon or in other parts of Syria, or Turkey. Lots of people in Turkey, and just heart-wrenching stories from families desperate to start a new life. And we just don't have any capacity. All of our refugee sponsorship capacity is filled at the moment. Okay. And we don't have ways to bring people here. And so I had to stop replying to the emails. I just can't even reply because it just sends another flood. Wow. So that's heart-wrenching. Yeah.
It is.
The most enjoyable, I think it's seeing the diversity of our church. Cool. People have no idea of the diversity across, certainly across our Indigenous communities, across the north, east to west, and the cultural differences within Canada in our church, which are both, you know, they can be really challenging sometimes, but they can also be just a wonderful gift to be in a church in Newfoundland. And of course, during COVID, I've been able to be in churches by Zoom, sometimes several on the same Sunday because of time zones.
Yeah.
But to see the wonderful joy and richness of our church, and that's a tremendous gift. And to see the creativity that's popped up, particularly during COVID. Really wonderful. Yeah.
Well done. Thank you. Thank you, Archbishop. This is very good. All right. Are you ready for rapid fire?
Okay.
Okay. And there's a lot. I'm not going to lie to you. There's quite a bit here, so this is exciting. Chips or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Canoeing or kayaking?
Oh, canoeing.
Paper book or ebook?
I read both. I still prefer a book.
Your book? Very good, very good. Choir or orchestra?
Oh, I'd have to say choir because I can get into it much quicker. To orchestra, I'd have to practice forever to get back in.
Okay. And also for hearing, which one do you prefer, choir or orchestra?
Oh, both. They're equal.
Equal? Okay, very good. Winter snowy cabin or a hot summer beach?
I think the beach.
The beach?
Yeah.
Very good. Read minds or be invisible?
Sorry, be what?
Read minds or be invisible?
I don't think I'd want to read minds. I think I'd better be invisible.
Well done. Well answered, too. That is true.
I don't think I want to know what's in everybody else's minds.
That's true.
TMI.
Exactly. Lose the ability to read or lose the ability to speak?
I think speak.
Speak? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Singing instead of speaking or dance wherever you go?
I think singing.
Singing, very good.
Instead of speaking.
Knowing the history of every object you touch or be able to talk to every single animal?
Oh, talk to the animals.
Animals? Done. Play any instrument beautifully, or read, write, and speak all known languages.
I think it would be the instruments. I express myself through through music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Have God add 15 years to your life, or lose 15 years, but you're brought to heaven in a chariot of fire.
No, I'm not into chariots of fire. It's okay.
So add 15 years? Okay. The former. Very good. Face Goliath with one stone and one slingshot, or wander in the desert for 40 years.
I think Goliath.
Goliath? Oh, wow. Well done. Okay. Well done. Have dinner with Ruth or with Esther?
I think Ruth.
Ruth? Yeah. Very good. Eat manna for 40 years, or unable to speak for 9 months?
Unable to speak for 9 months. Yeah.
Okay. Be in heaven for 1 hour, or a day with Jesus on earth?
Oh, a day with Jesus on earth.
Very good. Experience Pentecost live, or be with the disciples when Jesus appeared in the locked upper room?
I think experience Pentecost.
Pentecost? Well done. Be in the furnace like Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, or in the lion's den?
Be in the furnace with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Done. Okay. Hear one of Jesus' sermons live, or see one of his miracles live?
Oh, hear a sermon live.
Hear a sermon live? Okay. Last question. It's the most important question of all. The most of all things. Here it is. Have all the traffic lights go green for you, or have to never stand in line again?
Never stand in line.
Really? Why that one?
I know, because if I'm in a car, I've got capacity to listen to music, even if I'm at a stoplight.
Ah, true.
And if I'm standing in line, I'm probably not listening to music. And there's grumpy people in line and kids and
all that. All that. Excellent. That's it for me. I do thank you tremendously, my Archbishop, for your time and for your wisdom and for your leadership and for answering all those questions. Anything you'd like to leave us with?
Well, just that I hope people have a profound Holy Week, because this Holy Week is in the midst of our pandemic still. And there's so much pain and suffering around us, and so much anxiety, people unwilling to do what's needed for their neighbor because they're so tired of being in. And so the pain and the suffering is just building up. And I think we all need to come to the foot of the cross and recognize that we living through this is living through a kind of death of lots of things.
Yes.
And we're going to be at the foot of the cross with Christ, just waiting for that moment beyond it when new life will emerge. And I think by walking through it carefully and well, we can help our hearts to sing with the hope that comes from God.
Amen.
And keep us firm and ready for whatever's next.
Amen.
And so I just hope that people will have a profound experience of Holy Week, even if it's online.
Yeah. Awesome.
And that our Easter will be a joyous ringing out of that A word.
Amen. Thank you. So everyone for watching, thank you very much for joining us. And once again, thank you, Most Reverend Linda Nichols, for your time and for your wisdom. And hopefully next month we'll have a new guest. So God bless everyone and have a safe day.
Thank you, Steve, very much.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.